You love to see it. I already know that whatever he's going to say is going to be right. Now, he's about to talk about the Mythic Plus community is destroying itself, and I talked about this topic pretty extensively in the past 2 weeks, so I really wanted to check this guy video. I don't know really what to tell you. I think that the Mythic Plus community is literally one of the most horrid things that happened to World of Warcraft. And I can't even blame them, because they're clearly being cultivated by Blizzard. So, you know, let's see what he has to say. I'm gonna add my things on top of it.
Mythic Plus gatekeeping is so much worse than I ever expected. As a 0.1% title player, I recently made a secret alt to experience Mythic Plus pugging from the perspective of a new player, and holy hell, it's rough out there. See, I used to think that people complaining about LFG gatekeeping were exaggerating. Like, I never struggled to get into keys myself, even on alts, so why would anyone else? But it turns out that having my mains IO linked probably shielded me from a lot of the LFG idiocy that's been going on over the years. Because the gatekeeping in Mythic Plus...
you need to prove that you're actually good at the game to not be ostracized by its community. Perfect. Wow, we truly reached a level where new players are being gatekeeped from playing the game itself. And you know what? It actually may be beneficial, because you save them from losing their sanity.
Is absolutely insane. At first, I was kind of amused by it. I thought people declining my 275 item level 3.1k IO rogue from plus 12s and 13s were just troglodytes.
Bro, listen, I'm sorry for pausing this early again, but imagine speaking in such weird, contrived lingo to play World of Warcraft. And I'm not blaming him, by the way, like, this guy is great. It's just how World of Warcraft players are now conditioned to play the game. It's so sad. Like, oh, I'm 3k this, I'm 2k that, item level, all that stuff. Why does it exist in the game? Why can't we just have gear? Why can't we just have loot? Why can't we just have player skill? The only thing that needs to be present is a damage meter. Because damage meters do truly show really important information, like who's slogging the raid and who's just trying to leech off of other people, right? It is important. I will say that. I know some people are against damage meters. Personally, I'm for them. I think they are important. But the rest of the stuff, it has to go. It has to go.
The more it started to genuinely anger me.
Oh, hi, Zeers.
Like, what are we doing here? How many players have literally quit because of these insane behaviors? How many people have missed out on enjoying WoW because they were repeatedly gatekept and left to rot in LFG for no good reason? This isn't just annoying, it's actively damaging the game. Somewhere along the way, WoW players became terrified of even the remotest possibility of failure. And honestly, it is ruining.
They're not terrified, they're just such a big losers. All they care about is a graph that is pretty much non-existent other than this game. They're not streaming, they're not doing anything for content. If you're a streamer and you go for that, sure, I can somewhat understand. If you're a regular player that pays a subscription fee for World of Warcraft, well, first, my condolences, you need to be institutionalized. But second, nobody cares about you. I really want you to understand that if you're running Mythic Plus and you're paying Blizzard to do so, you are a bozo. But I'm not attacking personally anyone, just the top high contenders. If you do really enjoy Mythic Plus, like, yeah, go for it. If you inflict your toxic behavior on other players, then yeah, I could not care less about you. But it is what it is. It's because of key depletion and the timer. If they did it like Fractals, where you have to just do it, no timers and no key depletion, people would be as gatekeepy. Wouldn't be as gatekeepy. Yeah, you're 100% right. But again, that's why I say exactly that Blizzard are responsible. That's why I say that. Because they are. It's by design. It's not a flaw within the game. It's literally Blizzard cultivating this community.
Mythic Plus for so many people. Let's just quickly define what I actually mean by gatekeeping before we continue. To be clear, I'm not arguing that gatekeeping means not inviting someone who could theoretically do a key. Technically, a plus 10 is probably timable by a 210 item level Chad ult or something like that. That's not the point. What I'm talking about is rejecting players over incredibly fine margins. Things like declining a 270 item level 2.5k IO player from a plus 10
Damn,
just
that's
so
crazy.
that people can sit in queue and wait for some giga-geared mythic raider instead. I'm also not talking about top-end keys here either. By this, I mean
It
like
happens in lower
genuine
keys?
title level keys, like keys within the top 1% of a region. At that level, being selective is much more understandable. Those keys are actually really, really hard and generally require carefully curated comps with specific utility and all that sort of jazz. The problem is what is happening at the low to mid levels of keys, because what I define as gatekeeping is only inviting absurd, overqualified players despite plenty of applicants already being there that are more than capable of timing that key. And I imagine this comes from like one of two places. I want to guarantee success,
I want to feel good about living inside of my mother's basement.
or I want a clean, smooth run.
No,
And
he didn't say the correct option. Like, no, he didn't say that. Guy, I understand what he's saying here. Okay? I truly get it. And to some degree, it is true. But he needs to understand, and you guys too, this is all about ego. This has nothing with I want to clean a smooth run for convenience. It has nothing to do with I want to guarantee success. No, maybe it does to a certain degree. It's all about ego. It's all about ego because WoW players are such man-childs that all they care about is some contrived number on their screen. All they can look up is graphs. That's all they do. You ask them a question, go Google it up. You ask them what you need to do, download an add-on that shows you a graph. Nobody cares anymore. Nobody's explaining, nobody's willing to take the mantle of mentorship, and that's why the game sucks balls. That's why games like FF14 have a lot easier time to actually integrate new community. You have that sprout icon next to your name. People know that you're garbage, and they're actually offering you help. I played FF14, was the best 6 months of my life as an MMO gamer. I played WoW for years, and I suffer. So how can you compare these two? It's insane. And all of this can be easily fixed by Blizzard tomorrow, but they won't lift a finger to do so, because all they care about is the 1%ers, not the 70 to 80% people in the middle. They don't care about their semi-casual, semi-hardcore fan base. All they care about is the top 1%.
Both are actually valid desires. The issue is, though, that people are gatekeeping players who are also overwhelmingly likely to provide both of those outcomes already. Probabilities of success are obviously almost impossible to calculate precisely, but realistically, the 270 item level 2.5k IO player might already be like a 96% chance of timing that key smoothly. The 280 item level 3k plus player might increase that to what, 98%? The loss aversion in picking the latter over the former is insane. Like, people complain about entry-level jobs requiring 5 years experience.
Yep.
This is basically the same thing. Both
Exactly.
are really stupid. And yet, some
Because World of Warcraft became a job for some people. And these people, like the Mythic Plus Andes, they play World of Warcraft religiously. And they turned it into a job. I had a video about that too. I'm not going to repeat what I said there. But just so you know, this is a video game. You're supposed to have fun. You're supposed to cultivate a community that is nice and good to interact with. But that would never happen inside of retail again. And unfortunately, that mentality seeped into Classic. So I can't even enjoy TBC as a Retribution Paladin without being kicked from 7 different dungeon groups that want to run Heroic. Because it will take them 5 minutes extra if they take me instead of a Warlock. It's such a damn shame. It's really just annoying. Tryhards, exactly. Yeah, I sometimes sit on my throne in the newbie area in Guild Wars 2, chat to level 2 peasants, do you need some help? Based. This would never happen in World of Warcraft. First, because for the most part, they don't even speak your language. Second, they couldn't care less about you. WoW is a solo game. I tried to interact with people on Midnight because I was trying the new player level experience. Nobody answered me. Few people have, and I did have some great dungeon runs. I have to admit, it wasn't all bad. Some dungeon runs were really actually very fun. They were great, but there were few and far in between. For the most part, nobody speaks. everyone sits AFK. Even when you run like a meta event inside of WoW, it has a different name in World of Warcraft. I just speak in Guild Wars 2 terms so you guys can understand. But even if you run meta events, everyone just sits AFK. Like, nobody cares. Nobody cares. There is no community in WoW. They truly could not care less about you. FF14 was the last MMO I played that had a group I want to go in blind content. Understandable. In World of Warcraft, that would never happen. If you will dare to actually go blind into a piece of content in World of Warcraft, you will be blacklisted.
Somehow, the WoW community has almost normalized this behavior. As I mentioned earlier, I experience this constantly on my undercover rogue before linking my main's Raider IO score. On screen here is exactly the point that I am talking about. At this stage, Stulth, my rogue, was 280 item level, 3.1k IO, had a timed 15, and had plus 2'd a plus 12 Nexus point already. And yet, this group sat in LFG for 10 minutes looking for a DPS for a plus 13 Nexus point instead of inviting my character. Or this one here, not quite as egregious, but a 14 Windrunner. At this point, my character had timed a plus 16 Caverns and had plus 2'd a 13 Windrunner. Did I get invited to the plus 14 Windrunner? No. And these are just 2 clips. This happened constantly. To be clear as well, I'm not showing these clips because I think I was some tragic victim that got hard done by or anything like that. I'm showing these because they illustrate the problem. These players aren't filtering out bad applicants. They are filtering out overwhelmingly capable applicants in the hope that someone even more qualified might eventually appear. That's insane. So I eventually decided to test my own theory by doing the exact opposite of what was going on here. In this plus 16 Caverns, I invited a weird comp. In the run, I played so bad, like really, really bad. Like, look at my damage. We had multiple deaths. The run was messy overall, and yet we still timed the key. Because it turns out you don't actually need a perfectly curated giga meta roster for mid-level keys. And this was a plus 16. This idiotic gatekeeping happens in like plus 10s. So now you might be able to see why I became so frustrated when I saw this gatekeeping over time. I could tolerate it. I was doing a challenge, so like it didn't really bother me too much outside of just a little bit of annoyance. But I could imagine that a player who is constantly experiencing this on their main character, like sitting in queue for ages and getting repeatedly declined, like no wonder those players would be completely disillusioned with Mythic Plus or WoW as a whole. And all of that just so that the key holder can gain a 2% higher chance of success. It is unbelievably selfish behavior. And like I said...
No, but we're living inside of a min-max meta. And if you're not min-maxing, you're not truly playing the game.
This isn't just annoying in and of itself. It is actively damaging the health of the game. Like, I love the competitive sides of Mythic Plus. Some of the most fun I've ever had in WoW has been pushing keys with incredibly talented players playing with me. But this scene only exists if the game is healthy at every other level. Top-end communities don't just spawn magically out of nowhere. They grow from healthy lower-level ecosystems. But if...
Imagine a baby being born and you're like, damn bro, you're not a bodybuilder yet? Yeet! You just throw it out the window. You don't need it. You don't need him. It's okay. Just, stay with the old. Out with the new. So, I mean, by the way, what he's showing on screen is exactly part of the problem. The fact that all you do is cleave simulator, it's really bad habit of Mythic Plus. That shouldn't be the case. Back in the old days, you had parts where you needed to cleave, and characters, and I mean classes, had their own unique opportunity to shine. Nowadays, it's like all cleave fiesta. They really gotta change that back to sometime single damage, sometime AoE. They really need to start changing that. But at the same time, I'm not expecting Blizzard of anything.
WoW slowly becomes this really stagnant space where newer players barely participate. And
oh, your baby, I want 30 to 40k DPS. You gotta pop those numbers up.
And just
he's not going to make it.
This will all rot from the inside. On top of this, it doesn't just hurt like progression either. It hurts the social fabric of Mythic Plus. Players will stop seeing LFG as a place where they can meet new people and game together. Instead, it becomes this weird, like, hyper-competitive war zone of absurd expectations. Over time, it transforms players from teammates into obstacles. So if this continues at a large scale, newer players will increasingly avoid Mythic Plus entirely. And the players
Shaman,
that do stick
why you
around
die?
will end
Damn
up
it.
trapped in
Ooh.
this community environment that feels kind of cold and hostile and less social than it actually should be. There's a few counter arguments that I want to just cover.
Yeah, by the way, in case you want to know how to easily solve this, remove the time limit, remove key breaking, and make a leaderboard. That's it. That's it. Make the leaderboard shine in every new major city, and it's that simple. That way, you still appease the 1%ers because they get to, you know, their name to be flashed out, or maybe just give titles that, you know, relates to being top 5, top 10, whatever, and just give normal Mythic Plus enjoyers like me that truly like the competitive aspect of it a chance to, you know, just have fun and get gear. It's that simple. It's honestly that simple.
Quickly before we move into the last section. In my experience, at least, the whole spoiled for choice argument that people often come up with, it feels pretty disingenuous. This is where people will say, well, of course, I'll only invite the highest level player possible because, like, I've got 150 applicants. I play on OCE servers, which are quiet at the best of times and completely dead at the worst of times. When I would go to list my own key, there wouldn't be many
Australians
applicants.
playing?
So the whole, I've just got so much to pick from.
Yeah, Australians don't need to play this game. They already have these bugs in real life. They don't want to see them inside of Mythic Plus. It makes them triggered.
That of course I'm going to pick the highest level player.
I understand that.
At least in my region, that doesn't fly. And I'm not sure what it looks like in other regions or different time zones, but from what I've heard, people aren't swamped with 150 DPS to choose from. A couple of the more relatable arguments that I see is like, it's my key, I can invite who I want, or, you know, I just want the best possible chance of succeeding. Honestly, both of those are pretty valid as well, especially the second one. Like, of course we want smooth runs, and of course people are going to want success. The issue itself isn't selectiveness, it's absurd over-filtering. Because I'm not talking about like not inviting some random player who may be capable of timing a key and that dropping your success rate to like 70% or something. Like, I probably wouldn't want to do that either. I'm talking about situations where people are sitting in queue for 10 to 15 extra minutes despite already having multiple applicants that would almost certainly be able to complete the run successfully anyway. You're not increasing your success chance from like 70% to 90%. They're increasing it from like 92 to 96. The thing is too, is that this behavior becomes really damaging when everybody starts to do it at the same time. Individually, it doesn't feel like a big deal. You're like, oh, I can do this and just make my run like a free carry. But if everyone starts doing it, it starts to define the community as a whole. I really hope this isn't just falling on deaf ears. Like, there's a very good chance I'm just preaching to the choir here.
You are 100% shouting into the void here, brother, but I hear you, and you spitting fire and brimstone. This guy's great. Like, honestly, everything he says is actually true. But I've seen a comment here. All these problems would disappear if they just remove the damn timer and stop designing mechanics to be unfair and absurd. Absolutely, Barbak. You hit the nail right on the head there. Because the problem is, and I do really understand why players get frustrated by this, is that if you miss one kick, you die. That is such a bad design. Imagine fighting a boss in like Souls-like game, and one hit meant death. You're essentially, or maybe you miss something and like you die instantly. It's frustrating, right? Nobody wants to have to deal with that. You need to make room for errors. Like, Blizzard just don't get it. Like, I don't know why. It's so cringe. It's truly so cringe. I really don't understand why they went for this. They should make the game a lot more easier. I think they should opt for telegraph attacks more. I don't like the fact that you have like this downstream of abilities. Oh, the boss is going to cast this. I don't think that it's a good design for your game overall, but maybe they're incapable of doing so. I'm really not that sure at this point.
But maybe a few people will absorb the next point. Failure is okay. Like, seriously, it is perfectly okay for a Mythic Plus run to fail sometimes. It's so easy for people to start immediately pointing fingers the second a key goes south. Whose fault was it, or who threw the run? Realistically, most keys are actually failed because of like a bunch of small mistakes across the entire group combined. But the thing is,
Nobody cares about that. Everyone looks for a scapegoat because they all have hyperinflated ego and they cannot admit to their wrongdoings. So literally just everyone flaming each other. We recently saw a video about that. Everyone were looking for people to blame, even though the healer sucked balls, the tank was doing mistakes, DPS was pretty much non-existent and standing in pools. Like, everyone blamed each other. Everyone. That's how it goes.
You can't really.
Nobody will ever take
guarantee
personal
success
responsibility.
in a run anyway.
Ever.
But you absolutely can give yourself a very solid chance of success without becoming a gatekeeping psychopath. If I wanted to give people the benefit of the doubt here, maybe some players genuinely don't know what reasonably qualifies someone for a key. Maybe the culture has become so normalized that a lot of people don't even realize they're doing it in the first place. So I decided to throw together this simple one-page infographic. It basically shows a rough item level and Mythic Plus score ranges with the intersection displaying the key level that a player can very comfortably be invited to. Not the absolute maximum key that they're theoretically capable of, the level that this player would be overwhelmingly likely to succeed in. I'll pin it in my Discord server, I'll throw it up on Reddit as well, I suppose. So if you want to send it to a friend who's been declining 2.8k players from plus 10s, then go ahead, it's there. Despite all the things that I have covered in the video, some of my best experiences have come from Mythic Plus pugging. Some of the most enjoyable, fulfilling, and memorable things that have ever happened in video games have also come from taking chances on people that I didn't know. By nature, I don't really like making these super negative videos. Like, I love Mythic Plus, I love pushing keys, and I genuinely want to see the community become healthier and more positive over time. So instead of ending on a negative, let's end on a positive. What has been your best experiences from Mythic Plus pugging?
My subscription running out and me refusing to pay for more. Regardless, seems to be the end of the video. Great video by this guy. This is the first video I catched from him. Actually, really good video. I'm gonna leave a link in the description. You guys should watch it for yourself. Obviously, give him a like. But absolutely, he was right about every single thing he said. I wish you mentioned some more, but it's okay. He did his best. And I mean, there's nothing more for me to add. I just think that the current iteration of Mythic Plus should be abolished. 100%. This is unacceptable. It does the exact opposite of cultivating a nice, a good, lasting community. All it does is cater to the sweats, and there is a way to do it properly. That's the thing. Like, everyone, whenever I talk about Mythic Plus being this difficult, everyone is like, oh, you're bad, you're trash. Homie, I've played Deadlock and Marvel Rivals on a competitive level. WoW is nothing. I really want to make sure you guys understand before you type that in the comments. World of Warcraft is easy. Easy. I want to make sure you know that. It's super easy. So, now that I made you all mad, you can go back and watch my previous video playing competitive, by the way. I don't care. Like, there's literally receipts for that. You need to understand, it's not about making the most difficult content. It's about making it fun. You need to have fun with other people. MMOs are about community. Now, I know it has been lost on World of Warcraft retail because it's mostly a solo game nowadays, but it shouldn't be the case. Blizzard can revert that. They can go back to the old ways. They're going to do Classic Plus anyway, so might as well just abolish Midnight and the expansion that's supposed to be the sequel, The Last Titan, and just make it about community again. Just take away all of the unnecessary garbage that put a lot of pressure on you guys, and just make it fun. It's that simple.